إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. أما بعد, today inshallah we continue with the reading of our book Nawaqidul Islam after stopping the discussions on Shaykh, because it will not be more, it will not exhaust that topic. We will just mention a few things and we left it, even on the issue of seeking protection and curing those that Allah has tried with sihr. It will not exhaust it. Just mention a few things. For example, in the issues of adhkar, we only mention those adhkar that are in the Quran. We did not mention any of the adhkar from the books of Sunnah that are authentically reported from the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, and they are many. Al-Imam al-Tirmidhi in Sunan al-Tirmidhi, he has a whole chapter, Bab al-Mu'awwidat or Bab al-Isti'adha, the chapter of seeking protection. So he brought different adhkars, the whole chapter. The ahadith in that chapter are not less than 80. Likewise in Sunan al-Nasa'i, Imam al-Nasa'i has, if I'm not mistaken, the last chapter of Sunan al-Nasa'i talking about adhkars. And then there are also books you can find like Hisn Muslim, which only contains authentic adhkars, although its own adhkars are adhkars that are linked to all occasions. They are not connected to only those that are related to sihr. But there are also books that are translated, I know, outside Nigeria, but I don't know that you find them here. There is a book also written by Wahab al-Qahtani, the author of Hisn Muslim. It's called Al-Ruqa wal-Ilaj, Ruqya and Cure. So he mentioned there are also authentic adhkar and etiquette adab regarding sihr, how to seek protection and how to cure somebody who is already inflicted by sihr. So like I said, we cannot finish talking about it. We can go on discussing, but we just have to stop it there. So what we discussed of it is not like what the ulama will say, al-adab al-isti'ab, by way of mentioning everything. They are just al-adab al-zikr, mentioning part of it, representative of the entire whole. We hope and beg Allah to make it beneficial to the speaker and the listener. Today, inshallah, we'll be going to Naasir Al-Thani, the 8th thing amongst the 10 that Shaykh Muhammad ibn Abdul mentioned in this book, Nawaqidul Islam, Nullifiers of Islam. We said at the beginning of these this book, that these nawaqid, these things that destroy the Islam of a Muslim, they are not restricted to 10. But these 10 are akfaruha. They are the most dangerous. Wa akfaruha wuku'an. And they are the ones that the people fall into more quickly. So that is why he chose those 10 for mentioning. Not that aside these 10, there are no other things. But if you think deeply, if you look at the issues of the things that destroy the Islam of an individual, one way or the other, they will be connected with any one of these things, either directly or indirectly. So we will not lose, inshallah. So today we read Nawaqidul, the 8th nullifier of an individual's Islam. The Shaykh said, rahimahullah, the 8th, or number 8, said, مظاهرة المشركين ومعاونتهم على المسلمين. مظاهرة المشركين ومعاونتهم على المسلمين. معاونتهم على المسلمين. والدليل قوله تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا اليهود والنصارى أولياء بعضهم أولياء بعض ومن يتولهم منكم فإنه منهم إن الله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. الثامن مظاهرة المشركين ومعاونتهم على المسلمين. مظاهرة المشركين ومعاونتهم على المسلمين. مظاهرة المشركين. مظاهرة. These days when demonstrations started across the world, especially in the Muslim world, we would have been hearing that word muzahara. Muzahara can mean demonstration, public demonstration. But muzahara in this context is talking about helping, mu'awana, in one of the ways that Allah used this word in the Quran. Muzahara, Allah used it as mu'awana, that is help, munasara, aiding. So logically, muzaharat al-mushrikeen would mean helping mushrikeen, munasarat al-mushrikeen, or mu'awanat al-mushrikeen. So that word muzahara, Allah used it in many places in the Quran to indicate helping or aiding. If you remember, I think Tahrim, when Allah talked about the wives of the Messenger alayhi salat, he says, فَإِن تَظَاهَرَا عَلَيْهِ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ مَوْلَاهُ فَإِن تَظَاهَرَا عَلَيْهِ. If the people join hands together against the Prophet Muhammad, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ مَوْلَاهُ. Allah is the protector of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. So that's usage. Also Allah used it in the Quran. It says, وَلَكُلَّ إِنْ اجْتَمَعَتِ الْإِنْسُ وَالْجِنُّ عَلَىٰ أَنْ يَأْتُوا بِمِثْلِ هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ لَا يَأْتُونَ بِمِثْلِهِ وَلَوْ كَانَ بَعْضُهُمْ لِبَعْضٍ ظَهِيرًا. Faith, mankind and beings. لَإِنْ اجْتَمَعَتْ, if you all combine, all human beings and all beings, if you put hands together, عَلَىٰ أَنْ يَأْتُوا بِمِثْلِ هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ, and the aim of that coming together, اجتمع, that conference, is that أَنْ يَأْتُوا بِمِثْلِ هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ, this is doing something like this Quran. Allah says, لَا يَأْتُونَ بِمِثْلِهِ, they cannot bring something like it. وَلَوْ كَانَ بَعْضُهُمْ لِبَعْضٍ ظَهِيرًا. Even if they help themselves to do that, they cannot bring something like the Quran. So muzahara means what? Mu'awana or munasara, helping one another. So muzaharatul mushrikeen, when a Muslim makes muzahara with mushrikeen, he against mu'awana al-mushriki. But he said again, wa mu'awanatu. He said muzahara means mu'awana, but he repeated the word mu'awana again. The ulama have two explanations for this expression. Some of them say that he has used it, like Arabs will say, he tanawwu' al-ibara, by changing the words. He wants to use the same word twice by way of emphasizing that word. So in one case he says muzahara, in the other case he said what? Mu'awana. That's also in English. When we find a good editor editing a work, one of the things he avoids is repetitions. Because if we have a passage, and in the entire passage, we can count a word 3-4 times. One word 3 times, 4 times, we begin to question the understanding of that original writer. So what the editor will do is, even when the context deserves that words like that are used, the editor will find similes, will find word synonyms with which he will replace them, or try to reconstruct the sentence to remove those words as much as possible. That's also in Arabic. So we change the words. So some scholars say he makes tanawwu' al-ibara. He was changing expressions. He didn't want to say mu'awanatuhum wa mu'awanatuhum. So he said muzaharatuhum wa mu'awanatuhum. Some say no. Muzahara has a deeper meaning than mu'awana. Muzahara is when the person is helping the non-Muslims. وَيَرْكُمْ إِلَيْهِ, he depends on them. A Muslim is helping non-Muslims. وَيَرْكُمْ إِلَيْهِ, he depends on them. وَيَذُبُّ عَنْهُمْ, he defends them. وَيُحِبُّهُمْ عَلَى دِينِهِمْ, and he likes them because of their religion. There are many Muslims who do that today. They say, you see those non-Muslims, they, like Shaykh Muhammad ibn Salih al-Uthaymin, he mentioned in his first volume of his Shaykh on Riyadh al-Salihin. He said some Muslims are nasty now. He was talking about Saudi Arabia. He said they will say they want to employ a non-Muslim because that non-Muslim will not take out time 3 times during the working hours to take excuse for Salah. That Muslim will not say, the Christian will not say, I want to take out time to go for Umrah. Because if you are in the Arabian Peninsula, Alhamdulillah, you have the opportunity to go for Umrah almost every week if you say that. The office where some brothers work, you find people where fortnightly they go for Umrah. From Riyadh to Makkah is like going from Lagos to Abuja. So they go in the night, by the next night, they finish the Umrah, they are back in their homes. So, Shaykh Ibrahim said, Rahimahullah, Muhammad ibn Salih al-Uthaymin, he said some Muslim employers will say they like non-Muslims because the non-Muslim will not take time to go for that. So they like them, they are not, their religion doesn't take them much time. Some Muslims too will say if we employ a Muslim now in this office, we begin to live a beard. We don't want somebody with beard here. We want people who will not be able to live there. At least their own religion does not deserve them to live a beard. Things like this. They say, oh, if we want a lady in the office, we don't need a woman who will wear hijab. We want a woman who is not wearing hijab at least so that she can dress corporately and she will not tell us that the religion says. So they start giving preference to non-Muslims over Muslims because of Islam. That is, because of some reservations they have for Islam and some interest, some inclinations they have towards the religion of non-Muslims. This is muzahara. Some people say, some Muslim countries, if they become, good people in the world, this thing will happen, they start criticizing non-Muslims. Because of their love, they start criticizing Muslims because of their love for non-Muslims. They defend the non-Muslims, whatever the non-Muslims do. Even in situations where non-Muslim countries, their citizens will know that their countries have taken very wrong decisions, and has resulted in the death of many Muslims across the world in those countries, for Muslims to still defend those Muslims. Not because they don't like to defend them, but because they have some inclinations in their heart for that religion. Maybe for Judaism, maybe for Christianity, or maybe for atheism. Someone told me outside here that you translators, when you say غير المغضوب عليهم in Surah Al-Fatih, غير المغضوب or غير, if you are reading it, غير المغضوب عليهم, and we know that the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam had told us that al-maghdub alayhim, they are the Yahud, the Jews. So during translation, you don't need to be unnecessarily lexical to say and not based on whom Allah's wrath is upon. You will say and upon the Jews, or you can put a comma there to make an acquisition. That is two words standing by themselves and they mean the same thing. Just put a comma there, but indicating that, or you translate it logically and bring Jews and the Christians in brackets. The man said, why do you do that? He said, because when they go for meetings outside the country, their friends who are non-Muslims after it tell them that, yeah, show me Yahud there in this verse of Quran. Because so don't put Yahud there again, don't put Christian there. Just put Maghdub alayhim. Maghdub alayhim can be anybody. So they begin to defend non-Muslims because of the interest they have, because of love they have, because they have soft spot for them. So they defend non-Muslims and they attack the Muslims. This is what is referred to as what? Muzahara. In some cases, or in some cases, they will even support the non-Muslims financially against the Muslims because of the love for their religion. Some people may even support idolaters against Muslims because they are also part of them. Do you understand? If a Muslim is still in the masjid, but we are in this kind of an environment where after people perform salah in the masjid, we still see them mingling in worship with idolaters. So they will be defending those idolaters because in their heart they are together. And they will be attacking Islam and saying, you people, you have extremism, leave them. This kind of an activity is called what? Muzaharatul Mushrikeen. Wa mu'awanatuhum. Mu'awanatuhum is any form of help. So you see, Muzahara is more encompassing than Mu'awana. Mu'awana, you see somebody on the street, a Christian for example, going on the way. You have to, or a Muslim who is weak in Iman, he has some business interest with some non-Muslims. All of these we are explaining. After the explanations, we will read verses of the Quran that show them, that evidence them. But we want us to grasp the basics first, inshallah. A Muslim may have business interest with some non-Muslims, and so he will be supporting them financially against the Muslims. Not because he loves them, not because we want anything from them, but by way of protecting his own business interest. Things like this come under mu'awana. Although some forms of mu'awana can also make shirk. Like the question one of the brothers asked. Somebody, those making Oshun, they are designing the group for the worship. And the Muslim goes and begins to design the place. Mu'awinuhum. Awana is helping them upon that they are doing. So, but he may like it and he may hate it. If he likes it, that is what Muzahara. If he hates it and he brings the car perhaps because he doesn't have a choice to do, that's when we fall under Mu'awana. So Muzahara and Mu'awana, when they say Mu'awana, you should understand that the Mu'awana they mean here is the Mu'awana that involves shirk. The person likes it, and that's why we rightly fall under what? Muzahara. I hope this point is clear. So when the one that involves shirk in helping non-Muslims against Muslims is helping non-Muslims against Muslims out of love for disbelief. out of love for people, out of love for free thinking. Some people it is free thinking they like, and free thinking too is part of people. They are brothers. Free thinking too is part of what? People. The meaning of free thinking is I'm not worshiping anything. Those are those that Allah refers to in the Quran. أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ. Do you not see the one who takes his own desire as his Lord? وَأَضَلَّهُ اللَّهُ عَلَى عِلْمٍ. You will be claiming to have knowledge, but he is already misled upon that knowledge that he claims. So Allah describes them also as misled. So most of those you see who say, no, me, I'm a free thinker, I'm not a religious person, he is also a holy priest. He is also an idolater. And the idol that person is worshiping is what? His own desire. However. So this author, Shaykh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab, he said, مُظَاهَرَةُ الْمُشْرِكِينَ, helping non-Muslims, aiding non-Muslims, وَمُعَاوَنَتِهُمْ عَلَى الْمُسْلِمِينَ, and helping them, assisting them against the Muslims. So we have drawn two different forms. That which has to do with love, inclination, interest in people, and that does not have to do with that. We say this first one is people. And that is because Allah says in the Quran that وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّهُمْ مِنْكُمْ فَإِنَّهُ مِنْكُمْ. وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّهُمْ مِنْكُمْ فَإِنَّهُ مِنْكُمْ. Anybody who renders assistance to non-Muslims, who aids non-Muslims, who provides resources for non-Muslims out of love for disbelief for people, فَإِنَّهُ مِنْكُمْ. He is part of them. That is, he is a kafir like them. He likes it. But he's praying God in the masjid. In fact, as is common in this environment, he can be a Baba Adini. He can be Alashepo Adini. He can be Olori Odo Adini. Iyalaji Adini. She likes people. When they want to make what they refer to as Odo, she provides all the resources. And she's Adini in the masjid. Not that she's providing it because she's threatened, because that's also part of the issue that we have the time to go through. She's not threatened. She's not protecting her interest. She does not dislike what they are doing. She likes it. What they have to her. She's pleased with it. She doesn't say anything wrong. In fact, she sees that it is extremism for some Muslims to say they will not be part of it. Allah says, وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّهُمْ مِنْكُمْ فَإِنَّهُ مِنْكُمْ. Amongst new Muslims, anybody who gives non-Muslims this kind of assistance, فَإِنَّهُ مِنْكُمْ. He is part of them. Al-Imam Ibn Hazm rahimahullah al-Andalus is one of the scholars that rules from what we now refer to as Spain. Islam had ruled Spain since about 200 years after the Prophet Muhammad. The rock we now refer to as Gibraltar is Jabal Tariq, because it was the place where Tariq ibn Ziyad, the Muslim leader who captured that area, he emplaced his flag. So it was called Jabal Tariq. That is what they now refer to as what? Gibraltar. Islam owns Spain for over 600 years. Al-Imam al-Qurtubi, who wrote the Quran, the Tafsir of the Quran, Al-Jami al-Ahkam al-Quran, is from Al-Qurtubi, which they now refer to as Cordoba, C-O-R-D-O-B-A. In those days, Islam went right into Europe up to France and Portugal. Most parts of Portugal in those days were part of Spain. All those areas were captured by Islam. The people entered into Islam and they built huge masajid there. One of the children, one of the descendants of the leaders of the Muslims in that community was Al-Imam Ibn Hazm al-Andalus, rahimahullah. While he was explaining that verse, he said, rahimahullah, صح أن قوله ومن يتوله منكم فإنه منه. It is correct that this statement of Allah, that any person who assist the non-Muslims in this manner as we described, فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُمْ is part of them. إِنَّمَا هُوَ عَلَى ظَاهِرِهِ. The verse is as it shows. The verse shows that فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُمْ. It says it's like that. فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُمْ. It says بِأَنَّهُ كَافِرٌ, by way of showing that that individual is a kafir. مِنْ جُمْلَةِ الْكُفَّارِ, from amongst the non-Muslims. وَهَذَا حَقٌّ, and this is the truth. لَا يَخْتَلِفُ فِيهِ إِثْنَانِ مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. No two amongst the scholars of Islam differ on that matter. That anyone who assists non-Muslims out of love for them, out of sympathy, inclinations towards them, defending them, projecting their ideas, although you see amongst the Muslims, فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُ. That kind of a person is a kafir like that. May Allah protect us from that. There are other verses of the Quran where Allah mentions that وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّهُمْ مِنْكُمْ فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُ. Another verse is in Surah At-Tahrim, or Surah Al-Mumtahana, or Mumtahina, whichever of them. And the verse is a bit lengthy. There are two verses there. Let's take time to explain them because they two verses are connected to our issue. Allah says, لَا يَنْهَاكُمُ اللَّهُ عَنِ الَّذِينَ لَمْ يُقَاتِلُوكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ وَلَمْ يُخْرِجُوكُمْ مِنْ دِيَارِكُمْ أَنْ تَبَرُّوهُمْ وَتُقْسِطُوا إِلَيْهِمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُقْسِطِينَ. Allah says, لَا يَنْهَاكُمُ اللَّهُ. So don't blame us. Don't say, oh, these Muslims are preaching hate. We are not preaching hate. Listen to what our Lord says. Allah says, لَا يَنْهَاكُمُ اللَّهُ. Allah has not prohibited you Muslims عَنِ الَّذِينَ لَمْ يُقَاتِلُوكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ, regarding those who do not fight you because of your religion. There are some people, they are not fighting you because of Islam. وَلَمْ يُخْرِجُوكُمْ مِنْ دِيَارِكُمْ, and they have not told you to pack out of your house. Go out of this city. You people, Muslims, we don't want to see you again. As it was rumored sometimes in Angola. They say they don't want to see Muslims again. Sometimes they came to repeat the story. Sometimes people mention other things that affirm the story. In whichever of the cases, we know that it is something that Christians can do. Do we not think that Christians can do that? It is something that Christians can do. When they don't do it openly, they do it secretly. In fact, they are not shy to do it openly and tell that you don't want any Muslim there. All of you do it. And what the non-Muslims do to show that they don't want Islam and Muslims, if we Muslims do half of it, they will arrest all of us for it. In Bowen University here, it's among Muslims. Is it not? Can anybody go to Bowen as a student and not attend morning devotion in the church? It's compulsion. The same thing they want covenants in there. All their universities, you must behave like them once you are there. In fact, there are some of their universities where a lady, as is in the general university, she cannot wear trousers there. We are not telling you she wear trousers, and we don't want them to wear trousers. When they go out of their homes, we want them to wear their jalabi, as our Lord Allah has said. But the freedom that they claim that we Muslims don't give people, they are those who don't give it more. It is more with them. While our own is text-based, if you ask us, why do you not want Muslim women to wear trousers when they go out? Why are you saying they should wear jalabi? You say, Allah says, Ya ayyuhan nabi, kulla azwajika wa banatika wa nisa'il mu'minin yudnina alayhinna min jalabibihinna. We read that verse to you. Oh messenger, tell your wives, your children, and the Muslim women, when they go out, they should wear jilbab. Jilbab is the cloth that covers the woman from the top of her head to the ground. You don't have problems. But when we ask you as Christians, tell us, where is it in your book that a girl Christian should not wear a nylon skirt? You can't tell us. Even those mothers you find, they can hardly prove what they are upon. Their deen is like our religion makes us understand. Islam makes us understand that Christians are ignorant. They are worshipping God without knowledge. But we Muslims, we have knowledge. Many of the people are lost. But the Jews, they have knowledge and they deliberately act against the knowledge. Opposite. saying, Allah says, La yanhaakumullah. Allah has not prohibited us. Brothers, and الَّذِينَ لَمْ يُقَاتِلُوكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ, regarding those who do not hate you, who are not fighting you because of your religion. They are not fighting you because of Islam. They are not fighting you because you pray. They are not fighting you because of zakah, because you go for hajj, because of all this, because of your Islam. No, that is not the bone of contention. وَلَمْ يُخْرِجُوكُمْ مِنْ دِيَارِكُمْ, and they have not expelled you from your cities. Go out of this town. We don't want to see you again. Allah says, أَنْ تَبَرُّوهُ, I have not prevented you from tabarruh, being nice to them. Allah says He has not prevented us. وَتُقْسِطُوا إِلَيْهِ, and be fair to them. Allah says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُقْسِطِينَ. Allah likes those who are fair, who are just. In fact, also in the Quran, He says, وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ شَنَآنُ قَوْمٍ عَلَىٰ أَلَّا تَعْدِلُوا. Don't let some reservations you have for some people make you be unfair. Don't think you are unfair to him because he's a Christian. Don't be unfair to them. Allah says, وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ. Don't let those things make you become unfair. So, أَنْتَ بَرِّهِمْ وَتُقْسِطُوا إِلَيْهِ. Allah says, I want you to be fair, be nice to them and be fair to them. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُقْسِطِينَ. Allah likes those who are fair, who are just. إِنَّمَا يَنْهَاكُمُ اللَّهُ. Allah has only prohibited you عَنِ الَّذِينَ قَاتَلُوكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ, regarding those who fight you because of Islam. And look at the hikmah in this verse. He said, الَّذِينَ. Those people can be Muslims. We can have Muslims fighting Muslims because of Islam. So it says, أَنِ الَّذِينَ قَاتَلُوا. He did not say people. So those people, he will tell us their name. Who are they? أَنِ الَّذِينَ قَاتَلُوكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ, regarding those who fight you because of Islam. وَأَخْرَجُوكُمْ مِنْ دِيَارِكُمْ. They take you out of your home. We don't want to see you. Go away. وَظَاهَرُوا عَلَىٰ إِخْرَاجِكُمْ. They combine with non-Muslims to get you out of the town. Muslims. وَظَاهَرُوا عَلَىٰ إِخْرَاجِكُمْ. They combine either Muslims with non-Muslims, or non-Muslims together, or Muslims and Muslims. They connect together to bring some Muslims out because of Islam. They didn't do it. Allah says, they have not done anything as He said in Buruj. They did not do anything that deserves that. وَمَا نَقَمُوا مِنْهُمْ إِلَّا أَنْ يُؤْمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ الْعَزِيزِ الْحَمِيدِ. If you ask those people, this one that you said, where did you find it? Is it part of Islam? They say, show us, they bring hadith. This one you said, where is it? They bring ayah of Quran. This one you said, you say we should not go and do what. Where do you see it? They bring ayah of Quran. They bring hadith. And they say, okay, this hadith ayah you are doing, don't read it here. Go out of these people. Allah says, these people, they are fighting you because of your Islam. وَأَخْرَجُوكُمْ مِنْ دِيَارِكُمْ. They expel you from your homes because of Islam. وَظَاهَرُوا عَلَىٰ إِخْرَاجِكُمْ. And they combine ظَاهَرُ. You see, ظَاهَرَ again. وَظَاهَرُوا عَلَىٰ إِخْرَاجِكُمْ. Allah says, أَنْ تَبَرُّوهُمْ. نَهَاكُمْ أَنْ تَبَرُّوهُمْ. Allah has prohibited you from being nice to them. Don't be nice to people like this. Allah says, وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّهُمْ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. But those amongst Muslims who will still go and combine with this kind of Muslims or with this kind of non-Muslims because of Islam against Muslims, فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. Ulama say, هُمُ الَّذِينَ هُمُ الْكَامِلُونَ فِي الظُّلْمِ. They are those that their zulm, their transgression, their wrongdoing, they are being unfair is kamil. They are completely unfair. And لَا يَقْبَلُ أَحَدٌ فِي الظُّلْمِ إِلَّا الْكَافِرُ. There is no person who will be complete in zulm except that the person is what? Because kufr is the perfect wrongdoing, is the perfect injustice. So you see from this verse too that Allah says, وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. And any person who go and support the non-Muslims against the Muslims out of hatred for Islam or out of love for the religion of those people, فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. That person needs shahada again. He needs to come back to Islam really. He needs to repay shahada. If you ask me, if somebody has done it before and is still doing it, what does the person need to do if he wants to stop? Say, stop al-Islam. Let the person stop doing that. Stop that support. The second thing you tell me to do is to do what? Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. And then take this one again. To come back to Islam. If you have hairs on his head, we say you should shave the hair. Because it is sha'r al-kufr. Yes. It is sha'r al-kufr. From the things a person is encouraged to do when he really accepts Islam is to make ghusl and then shave his head. The Prophet said it to somebody who accepted Islam. This hadith is Hassan. He says, Alki anka sha'r al-kufri waqtati. Go and shave off the head of kufr from yourself. If you have not circumcised, then let's go for circumcision. So Islam prohibits that a Muslim supports non-Muslims. So we say there are aspects of it. There are other verses in the Quran. تَرَى كَثِيرًا مِنْهُمْ يَتَوَلَّوْنَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَبِئْسَ مَا كَانُوا. What did we say? تَرَى كَثِيرًا مِنْهُمْ يَتَوَلَّوْنَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَبِئْسَ مَا قَدَّمَتْ لَهُمْ أَنفُسُهُمْ أَنْ سَخِطَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ وَفِي الْعَذَابِ هُمْ خَالِدُونَ وَلَوْ كَانُوا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَالنَّبِيِّ وَمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْهِ مَا اتَّخَذُوهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءَ. Allah said, تَرَى كَثِيرًا مِنْهُمْ يَتَوَلَّوْنَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. You see many Muslims, so they say ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. They say ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. They still go back and start aiding non-Muslims against Muslims. Allah says, لَبِئْسَ مَا قَدَّمَتْ لَهُمْ أَنفُسُهُمْ. This thing that their soul is pushing forward for them, bi'sa, it's evil. This thing that their soul is pushing forward, مَا قَدَّمَتْ لَهُمْ. Their soul is pushing it for them on their behalf. Bi'sa, it's evil. أَنْ سَخِطَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ. It will earn them the wrath of Allah. وَفِي الْعَذَابِ هُمْ خَالِدُونَ. And they are going to be in punishment forever. Who will be in punishment forever? Kafir. It means that action is a statement of Allah says, وَلَوْ كَانُوا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ. If it were true that they actually believe in Allah as they claim, وَالنَّبِيِّ, and they say, أَشْهَدُ أَنَّ مُحَمَّدًا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ. If it were true, وَمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْهِ, and they believe in the Quran, Allah says, مَا اتَّخَذُوهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءَ. They would not have given that kind of cooperation and assistance with non-Muslims. It's a very, very big thing in Islam. When a Muslim is helping non-Muslims against Muslims out of love for the belief or out of hatred for Islam, he says, stop, remove them. Remove them. And let me tell you, it is difficult in history to find any time non-Muslims overpower Muslims except that they got some Muslims to themselves. When they want to penetrate the Muslims, they look for one Muslim who will لَبِئْسَ مَا قَدَّمَتْ لَهُ أَنفُسَهُمْ. Whose soul will help him to reject this evil? They must look for one Muslim. When they get the Muslims, they support him. He will start either giving them information. It's part of it. To do this, do that. They are going here, they are going there. And perhaps he may be secretary of the mosque committee. He is the one that will inform them there. Tomorrow they will go to social place. Next tomorrow they will go to social place. May Allah protect us. So we say, مُظَاهَرَةُ الْمُشْرِكِينَ وَمُعَاوَنَتُهُمْ عَلَى الْمُسْلِمِينَ. There are two aspects of it. The one that has to do with shirk, that takes somebody out of Islam. And the one that does not take somebody out of Islam. The person just does it by way of protecting his business. So Muslims from non-Muslims are, maybe you live in Islamic hostile environment like South-East. South is not hostile to Islam, my brothers. South is not Nigeria. South is not hostile to Islam. It is we Muslims that have not properly explored that area. South is not. I lived there for 25 years. That's where we go. I was born there. South is not hostile to Islam. It is South-East that is hostile to Islam. Very hostile. South-East. You know what I mean? South-East, Imo, Abia. That is where you find serious hostility against Islam. So if a Muslim has a huge store there, and maybe some Muslims overzealous extremism, they begin to manhandle some non-Muslims in a part of the country, and then you are there, you have a business interest, you call and say, look, come, I'm not against you, take this money, so that his business interest is not destroyed. So, because just by way of protecting that interest, that is not good. Although ulama say it falls in two things. If he is just seeking to protect that interest by leaking an information from the Muslims to non-Muslims, the thing is a sin. It's a major sin. But if it is by way of take this money, don't destroy my property, they refer to that as mudarat, by way of calming them down, playing along. I think it's a better word. Play along. You play along with them as if you are there, so that they don't destroy your property. Not because you have any love for them. You don't like that. You don't want anything. You just give them something. Don't destroy this place. Now leave it. Don't take, so that they can go. This is called mudar. Daraytan. You have played along with them by way of seeking protection for yourself. This is allowed and it is not good. But a Muslim will be planted amongst Muslims by non-Muslims, and then he will give information to non-Muslims that may harm the Muslims, because he also wants to protect certain interests that he has, not because he likes their religion. This one too is not open. It's a major thing, but it's not open. During the time of the Prophet Muhammad, the Prophet wanted to, I think around 7th year of Hijrah, he wanted to return to Makkah. Up to Makkah according to the 8th year, in the 8th year. 7th year was what? Year of what? In the 8th year the Prophet wanted to return to Makkah, back to Makkah. So he sat down with the Muslims and they had a meeting that we are going to go to Makkah, we are going to prepare for two things. We are going to go for peace. If we get there, they stand up against us to fight us, then we fight them. That is the plan. We are going to make peace, non-violent. We are just going to go there. We have come, we are taking over Makkah peacefully. Hands up, everybody. If they agree, there is no problem. But if they resist, they will put down that resistance. One of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Hafiz ibn Abi Balta'a. Hafiz ibn Abi Balta'a was amongst the Muslims who fought in the Battle of Badr. He was a well-known companion. He was from among the Sabiqun al-Awwaleen. He also made hijrah from Makkah to Medina. And we know what Allah said about those who made hijrah from Makkah to Medina. He also had very large business interests in Makkah, although he was not from Quraysh. He was just having some people amongst Quraysh that he had a pact with. That is, he had an agreement with, that don't worry, as you are here, we will be the ones protecting you. So it's not Quraysh, but he had some agreement with some Quraysh that he should be protected. So by that, he was able to carry out his business activities, and he had a lot of money. He had families too, he had other things. Allahu Akbar. This companion now wrote a letter and gave it to a woman to take that letter to Mecca, and he informed them about what they discussed in the meeting with the Prophet Muhammad. Alayhi salatu wasalam. Hafiz ibn Abi Bakr. That woman left the letter at the middle of her hair. The woman opened her hair and locked the letter, interlocked the letter at the middle of her hair, because she knew that the Muslims will get aware. We have been saying it and saying it. It was not only the Quran that Allah revealed to the Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet also had revelations apart from Quran. Al-Wahyu Wahyan. There are two kinds of Wahyu, revelation that came to the Prophet Muhammad. The revelation of Quran that we read, and other revelations that are not documented as part of the Quran. Part of that is what happened in this story. The hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim, another books of Sunan. Allah revealed to the Prophet Muhammad that something has happened. The secret has leaked out. The war strategy has leaked out. So the Prophet said, okay, Ali ibn Abi Talib, and he's the reporter of the hadith, and Zubair ibn Awam, one of the 10 given the black tidings of Al-Jannah, and the husband of Asma bint Abi Bakr. You know Asma, the elder sister of Aisha radiallahu anha. So the three of them, Ali ibn Abi Talib, Zubair ibn Awam, and Al-Miqdad ibn Aswad, Miqdad ibn al-Aswad, you know him, he has a story with Ali. He's always with Ali radiallahu anhu. He was the one that Ali told radiallahu anhu when he said in an authentic hadith reported by Imam Abu Dawud in his Sunan that kuntu rajulan mazda'an, and a man, mazdu affects me, you know mazdu, when you become aroused sexually, you release without being a male fluid, without a male fluid. Something that comes out first. It disturbs Ali a lot. Radiallahu anhu said, Mazda'an, Allah fijatul mubalaga. It is kuntu rajulan mazda'an. I'm a man that mazzi, or live. You can call it mazzi. You can also call it live. Ruma legatan. It comes legatan. It comes and disturbs me. But limakana tulintihi indi. Because of the status of the wife, the Prophet's daughter Fatima radiallahu anha, I cannot ask the Prophet. Imagine a man coming to ask his in-law, my in-law, so is disturbing me. He's shy radiallahu anhu. Wal haya'u min al-iman. So Ali radiallahu anhu could not ask the question directly. He told Miqdad to ask the question on his behalf. And the Prophet told him alayhi salatu wasalam to wash his main organs and make a wudu. The point of reference was that three of them, Ali, Zubair ibn Awwam, and Al-Miqdad ibn al-Aswad, the three of them, they touched. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam even told them the place they will find a woman, alayhi salatu wasalam, that if you move like this, when you get to Rawdatun Kha, that is the name of the garden, Kha, when you get to that garden, you will find a woman there going to Mecca. She has a message with her, collect the message. The three of them set out on the journey. They know that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ma yantiqu anil hawa in huwa illa wahyun yuha. He has received a message from Allah. So they proceeded. Ali ibn Abi Talib said, our horses we are moving as if we are flying. That secret must not leak out. The horses we are moving as if they are flying when they set out. When they got to the woman, they told her, they said, Akhrijul kitab, bring out the letter. You know, she said, no iya min kitabin. I don't have any book. Min kitabin. I don't have any kind of any written material with me at all. You can find, you can see, you can. Sister, you know them. She started disguising. Ali radiallahu anhu said, لَتُخْرِجَنَّ الْكِتَابِ أو ليلقين الثياب لتخرجن الكتاب أو لنلقين الثياب. You better brought out that paper now or we will rend you wood. That is, we will undress you and will pick up that paper from you, the three of us. You better لتخرجن الكتاب أو لنلقين الثياب. You better brought out the paper now or we will render you wood and collect the paper from you. They knew if it were we now, we say, maybe the prophet was wrong. They say, they knew. Allah had told them in the Quran that, so you better bring it out now or we rend you naked and bring the book out. Ulama Ali radiallahu anhu said, فَأَخْرَجَتْهُ مِنْ عِقَافِهَا. The woman then brought out the letter مِنْ عِقَافِهَا. عِقَاف. You know when a woman, for example, to make you understand well, those women who make Bob Marley, when it goes back, they now fold it like that. That is how she did her hair. That is the meaning of iqaf. The long hair, she put the paper at the middle of the hair and folded the hair together with the letter. So she brought it out and she handed it over to Ali ibn Abi Talib. You know, the matter has finished, their own assignment has ended. They returned to the Prophet Muhammad. When the letter got to the Prophet Muhammad, it was opened and they saw that Hafid ibn Abi Balta'a had written to his family, and the people of Mecca, he wrote to the people of Mecca that we are coming with the Prophet Muhammad. We are not intending a war, but if you people do raise any resistance, we are going to quench that resistance. We will prepare for the two. So when we read that message to the Prophet Muhammad and the rest of the companions, the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ma hadha ya Hafiz. Ma hadha ya Hafiz. Oh Hafiz, what is this? Everybody was silent. The Hafiz said, radiyallahu anhu, La ta'jal alayya ya Rasulullah. Don't be in a haste about me, O Messenger. That means I shouldn't get there, O Messenger. Take it easy with me. La ta'jal alayya ya Rasulullah. Inni kuntu imra'an min Quraysh. I'm a man living with Quraysh. Walam akun min anfusih. But I'm not part of them. I'm living with Quraysh. Lam akun min anfusih. But I'm not Quraysh. He said, radiyallahu anhu, وَكَانَ مَنْ مَعَكَ مِنَ الْمُهَاجِرِينَ لَهُمْ قَرَابَاتٍ. But those others amongst the Muslims, Muhajirin, that we came together from Makkah, they have relatives in Makkah. لَهُمْ قَرَابَاتٍ يَحْمِلُونَ بِهَا أَهْلِيهِمْ. Those their relatives and their families will protect their wives and their kids and others. He said, radiyallahu anhu, wa amwalahum bi Makkah. And even their money, their family will help them to protect it when they are in Makkah. He says, فَأَخْبَرْتُ. And he says, فَأَخْبَرْتُ إِنْ فَاتَنِي مِنَ النَّسَبِ فِيهِمْ أَنْ أَصْطَلَّ إِلَيْهِمْ يَدًا يَمْحِينَ قَرَابَتِي. He says, I also now thought that I don't have family there. Let me do something to them that they will look at and they will use that to protect my family. Do you understand? He wants his family to be protected. You all of you have brother there, you have sister, you have uncle, you have everything there. They will protect you. But I don't have anything. And my family, they are there. So let me do something to them by way of they looking at me and protecting my family. It says, وَمَا فَعَلْتُ ذَلِكَ كُفْرًا وَارْتِدَادًا. I did not do that. Kufran, out of disbelief, وَارْتِدَادًا, and out of relegation, going out of Islam, and deen, out of my deen. وَلَا رِضًا بِالْكُفْرِ. I did not do it because I like kufr. I did not do it because I wanted kufr. I did not do it because I want to go out of Islam. I just did it to protect my interest. This is the point of reference. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, قَدْ صَدَقَكُمْ Hatib ibn Abi Balta'a, قَدْ صَدَقَكُمْ, he has told you the truth. The Prophet said alayhi salatu wasalam that Hatib has told us the truth. Al-Imam al-Shafi'i, Al-Imam al-Qurtubi, AbdurRauf, Sa'di, many of them, they say this is evidence that if we have a Muslim that does this kind of a thing by way of helping the non-Muslims against Muslims, then he is doing it to protect his own interest, not because he likes their religion or not because he dislikes Islam. If we find a Muslim that does that kind of a thing, yes, it is a sin, but that individual is not a sin. This is the evidence, because the Prophet did not make takfir of Hafiz. In fact, Ali radiallahu anhu said, Da'ani abdul ulq al-munafiq ya Rasulallah. O Messenger of Allah, this man should be a munafiq, let me cut off his head. The Prophet said, Da'ahu, leave him. فَإِنَّهُ مِنْ أَهْلِ بَدْرٍ, because he is among the people of Badr. وَمَا يُدْرِيكَ لَعَلَّ اللَّهَ اطَّلَعَ عَلَى أَهْلِ بَدْرٍ فَقَالَ لَهُمُ افْعَلُوا مَا شِئْتُمْ قَدْ غَفَرْتُ لَكُمْ. Perhaps Allah has checked the hearts of all those who participated in Badr, and he has said to them, افْعَلُوا مَا شِئْتُمْ, do anything you like, قَدْ غَفَرْتُ لَكُمْ, I have forgiven you. Ulama say it means that thing was a sin, but it is not a kufr. It is not an act of disbelief, and we did not do it out of disbelief. So muzaharatul mushrikeen wa mu'awanatuhum ala al-muslimin has two aspects. The aspect that is shirk and kufr, and the aspect that is only a sin but is not shirk and kufr. When a person hates non-Muslim because he likes their religion, because he supports their religion, because he wants their religion better than Islam and all of this, that help, he is helping non-Muslims against Muslims in that circumstance constitutes disbelief. But if he's just doing it by way of protecting certain interests, while his iman is still well established in his heart, that kind of person has, yes, committed a sin, but he has not made a shirk or kufr. And the evidence the ulama gives here is وَالدَّلِيلُ قَوْلُهُ تَعَالَى يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا تَتَّخِذُوا الْيَهُودَ وَالنَّصَارَى أَوْلِيَاءَ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّهُمْ مِنكُمْ فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الظَّالِمِينَ. I think we explained this verse where we are trying to give the evidence to say that any person who hates non-Muslims because he likes disbelief, he likes their religion, he is inclined towards them, he supports them against the Muslims, that person has disbelieved thereby. But if the person is just doing that by way of protecting certain interests, maybe a Muslim was kidnapped somewhere and some non-Muslims are asking for ransom. If he gives them the money, when he knew that if he gives them that money, perhaps they use it to attack some other Muslims, but because if they want to free some Muslims to a captive, the ulama will start investigating which of them is stronger. Should we give them the money so that they can release those Muslims and then prepare for defense? Or what should we do? This kind of matter. So don't say, oh, they say anybody who is giving them the money, and you know that that money, they use it, they use it. It's not this kind of an issue, because they are not giving them kufran war tidada and deen al-Islam. They are not giving them out of kufr or out of going out of Islam or out of hatred for Islam. They are giving it by way of protecting some interest, as it happened in the hadith of Hatib ibn Abi Balta'a. The hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim, and it is evidence that the matter is not just a general case. It's a case that has to do with the intention of the helper when he is helping the non-Muslims against Muslims. So if we have Yadini, and the Yadini, after the meeting, they say, oh, they took some decisions in the masjid, and she went and gave the information to some non-Muslims because they threaten that if she does not give them that information, they will kill her, they will do this, but she hates their religion. Maybe they even already captured her husband, her wife, her family, everybody in her house, and told her, look, if you don't tell us what happened in that meeting, we are going to kill all of them. And by way of helping them get released, she tells them some of it, not because she wants their religion or she likes their religion, but no matter how small that information is, it is going to help those non-Muslims to gain the Muslims. She could tell them by way of sitting back. When she now goes back, it is a sin. But it is not kufr. This is what we are trying to establish. Letting out information about the ummah to non-Muslims is a sin, but it is not an act of kufr or shirk. But in some cases it will be obligatory that we do it, and in all these kind of issues. But these are the basics of it that we have described. It may be shirk and it may not be shirk. And we are giving evidences that prove both sides. We beg Almighty Allah to make us understand better than we have tried to explain. The point again is الثاني مظاهرة المشركين ومعاونتهم على المسلمين. Helping non-Muslims and aiding them against the Muslims out of love for them and out of inclination towards their religion. وَالدَّلِيلُ قَوْلِهِ, the evidence that that act is an act of kufr is what Allah said in the Quran, that يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, all you who believe, لَا تَتَّخِذُوا الْيَهُودَ وَالنَّصَارَى أَوْلِيَاءَ, don't make the Jews and the Christians your friends. It's a sin. Making Jews and Christians friends. You can have what people call casual acquaintance with them. Casual acquaintance, you just meet somebody, how are you? You go. No friendship. Some Muslims have non-Muslim friends. All their life secrets are with those non-Muslims. Their bank accounts, the way they marry their wives, where they are going, their children. Don't do that. Look for a Muslim you can trust and do that with. Don't do that with non-Muslims. It is part of wala, it is part of friendship with them. And Allah has prohibited us from doing that. Don't take the Jews and the Christians as friends. Allah says, أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ. He says, بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ. They are friends of themselves. Christians are friends of Christians. Jews are friends of Jews. Although the ulama explain that Christians are friends of Christians on the mouth. Christians are friends of Christians on the mouth. Because when the chips are down, you realize that their hearts are different. Allah said it in the Quran. وَمِنَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّا نَصَارَى أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَهُمْ فَنَسُوا حَظًّا مِمَّا أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَهُم. What did he say? وَمِنَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّا نَصَارَى أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَهُمْ فَنَسُوا حَظًّا مِمَّا ذُكِّرُوا فَنَسُوا حَظًّا مِمَّا ذُكِّرُوا فَأَغْوَيْنَا بَيْنَهُمُ الْعَدَاوَةَ وَالْبَغْضَاءَ. Allah says, those among those people who claim that they are Christians, أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَهُمْ, we went into covenant with them. فَنَسُوا حَظًّا مِمَّا ذُكِّرُوا, they forgot a large part of the remembrance that we gave to them. Allah says, فَأَغْوَيْنَا بَيْنَهُمُ الْعَدَاوَةَ, adawa, enemy. We put it in their heart amongst themselves. He says, إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. Allah said Christians will be hating themselves till the day of Qiyamah. So some people will say they are can. Some people say can are liars. They are just buying private jets. The other will say no, do Christmas. The other will say no, Christmas is idol worship. The other will say no, the Bible is what's it called, New Testament is good. The other will say no, it is not good. They hate themselves. Allah says, تَحْسَبُهُمْ جَمِيعًا. You are the one that think that they are the same. وَقُلُوبُهُمْ شَتَّى. But their hearts are different. So, ulama say, what Allah said here, that بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ. A group amongst them, they are the friends of themselves. They are the friends of themselves on the mouth. Allah says, وَمَنْ وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّهُ مِنْكُمْ. But anyone amongst you who does not live there, let Jew be friend of Jew. Let the Christian be friend of Christian. Anyone amongst you Muslims who now go to any of these people or the Mushrikeen to say, oh, let's be friends, let's be assistants, let's do this and seek their aid and assistance as we have explained. Allah says, فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُمْ. That kind of a person is a kafir like them. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَهْدِي الْقَوْمَ الظَّالِمِينَ. Allah will not help those who are wrongdoers. The Almighty Allah protect us from wrongdoing. So this is as far as we go. I think this point is clear, inshallah, that مُظَاهَرَةُ الْمُشْرِكِينَ وَمُعَاوَنَتُهُمْ عَلَى الْمُسْلِمِينَ is from amongst the things that make somebody become a kafir. Helping non-Muslims against Muslims. Those who do partisan politics today, they know this one very well. That in that case, they don't think about Islam or Kufr or Christianity. No matter who that Muslim is, and no matter how well he does, some Muslims will hate him because of what they get from some non-Muslims. The Almighty Allah protect us. Today we take questions from us. Let's raise our hands. Those who have questions. So give us the number, we'll come back to those numbers. But don't forget your number, inshallah. 1, 2, no, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1. 7, inshallah. 8, after thought. Okay, 9, inshallah. 8, inshallah. Now, 1. This question is a discussion. I'm thinking that inshallah our next class will be devoted to question and answers about all what we have done before or any other thing that may come to mind. So we respond to all those questions in the next class inshallah. So that we will not go back to discussions on second. So that the next class, everything, bismillah, we just come, we take the numbers and start addressing the questions we have, inshallah. So we do that in the next class. Number 2. Anyone? Anyway. Somebody has an attitude and the feeling is really not to plan it. They are doing a leader of that today. And that is comparison of Muslim religion. But once the leader is a meeting and the leader portrays kind of attitude of accepting the non-Muslim against the Muslim. Or if that is not, what is giving them is not a lot of propagating their own religion, and they have never been seen anything wrong in their own religion. So in such a case, and that is how the intention that is just doing it so that God against him as a leader. That is the case of the village. The question is, if we have a village head, and the village has people of various religious backgrounds, if the village head somebody having an excuse that just to protect my family or to protect my property or to doing what is better. The education of the community, how they do probably that meeting will have tried to do it for a way to build themselves out of the burden of the non-Muslim among the area. They told us not thinking that it's among the Muslim and the non-Muslim away. Where his property or his soul, his belief probably is in the hand of Allah, probably is in the hand of some of those people that will be living all the religion. So God did not expose the secret of non-Muslim, and at the end of the day, that one leads to the kind of mass destroy of the Muslim as a group like that. So Allah consider it what has done to this ordinary Muslim when the Muslim has been destroyed and no Islamic is being shut. When a Muslim in that village, after a meeting with the Muslims, now divulges a secret in the meeting to the non-Muslims, because he wants to protect his property, which is in the hands or which is exposed to danger with the non-Muslims. So he saves it, and then the non-Muslims attack the Muslims and kill a lot of Muslims. Cool? Yeah. The question is, can we say what that person has done is not shirk or kufr? Can we just say just a sin is a sin? You see, one of the foundations of saying something is kufr that takes a person out of Islam or not is that it must be something that Allah and the Messenger regard as kufr that takes somebody out of Islam. If it is not, then it is not. That is, we must have a proof that in the Sharia of Islam, whoever does what that person has done has become a kafir. Before we can say it's a kafir, we will not say no. This singular action of this individual led to the death of 100 Muslims. That individual, the only ruling we can give him is to say that he's a kafir. We will not say that. In that case, the judge was our emotions and not the text of the Quran. If we go by the text, if a person does that, while not really loving those people, we just felt, well, let me just protect myself. And in the end, the matter turned out as it has turned out. It's still a sin. It's a sin, a major sin. But we don't have evidence to say that it is kufr. So we will not say that it is kufr. Are you the next person? I want to say now, fourth question. The Mala in the village who does something because he's just afraid of the non-Muslims. Well, what he's asking of is not what should the Bala do. That's not what he's asking. What he is asking is if that Bala is taking some action just by way of protecting his being a Bala. Is this kufr? The simple question is if he is doing that just for his own personal gain alone, it's not kufr. But if he is doing that because he likes them, or Christianity, in fact, their own religion, no problem, this, that, then that makes him a kafir. So we will not be able to rule that it's a kafir until we have tried to understand what is the basis for his actions and inactions. It is upon that you can now say what he has done is kufr. If he dies, we will not go and bury him until we can confirm that he is like that. That is when we can take that kind of a decision. However, even if a person does that, there is still another thing that may protect us from saying that it's a kafir, and that is the fact that ignorance, the person may be ignorant. If the person is ignorant that that kind of an action may lead to kufr, and is living in such a remote village, like you said, that he cannot be aware, he has not attended lectures like this, where he can be aware of him. So helping non-Muslims against Muslims kufr, he doesn't know. He thinks we are just doing our own. All about Islam is just to pray 5 times a day and go to Mecca, fast Ramadan, and over. He doesn't know any other thing like this. And he's not exposed to know it. It's not as if he does not want to know. He just doesn't know. The circumstance has not made him to be able to know. This kind of person is not a kafir. Because Allah said, وَمَا كُنَّا مُعَذِّبِينَ حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا. We will not destroy any group of people until we have warned them. No one will reach them. So why will you take the punishment of Allah? But if he had known, he knew, yet he still assisting the non-Muslims, then that is when we can read about his kufr, inshallah. I hope this question answers our prayer, inshallah. Number 4, 5, 3. If when you don't take a non-Muslim as your friend, if you don't have a non-Muslim friend, and if you are not having a non-Muslim friend can lead to envy you and things like that. You see, if you have a friend and you have good things with you, your friend can still envy you, even amongst Muslims. We have Muslims that have hatred of fellow Muslims. A Muslim has a store, he's selling TV Nawawi. Another Muslim has a store, he's selling TV Nawawi. This one is selling, this one is not selling. The other one is thinking that he is a person. And he begins to hate that individual. It happens. That one is not, it doesn't have religion as a barrier for it. Hasad, jealousy, and it is very, very dangerous. One of the scholars says does not have a cure until the other person that is being jealous becomes dead. That is the day that the man, the jealous man, will rest. He will not leave you until you die. May Allah protect us. That is why we say, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ وَمِنْ شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ وَمِنْ شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ وَمِنْ شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ. The only solution is to run to Allah. When you notice it, avoid the person. Solution one. When you notice somebody is making hasad of you, why is your own cap tall? Everybody is wearing short cap. Your own is tall. He likes it. Why did you iron your clothes? Everybody is wearing jalabia. You wear shoulder. You want to show us that? No. He's just being avaricious. He's just hating the man because of one problem that Allah has given to him. You look at the car he's driving. Look at the house he's living. Look at how he's reading Quran. Why are you speaking English? Speak Yoruba. Because he cannot speak the language. So he now wants everybody to remain where he is. It is hasad. But it should be burning in his heart. That burning effect and the hatred, it will have some effect on the other person. So that is why that person must be reading a lot of Falak and Nas. He can't face him. If you are carrying a knife and a man has hasad for you, the hasad in his heart can connect the knife from your hand. Do you understand? You carry a knife, you face a man who has hasad in his heart for you, it can collect that knife from your hand. The hasad in his heart, it is more powerful than radioactive waves. And it has a lot of effect. The only thing you need is to run to Allah, all the time. And you know what? Until you lose everything you have, that is the time that He will rest. It has no cure. So when you know somebody like that, avoid him. Avoid seeing him. Avoid having anything to do with him. Avoid talking to him. But when he makes hasad of you, ulama say be patient. Be patient. Don't tell him. Oh, you are doing so to me. Don't tell him. Don't do anything. Treat him as if nothing has happened. Ulama say that is, those are from amongst the things that Allah will use against him, because Allah will certainly raise you up against him. What he is fighting is not you, he is fighting Allah, because what you have is not you that you got it out of your power, it is Allah that gave it to you. So he is fighting Allah now. One of the scholars in a base in a stanza, some stanzas about hasad, he said when that person makes hasad of you, he is saying that Allah is not wise. Allah gave you. He said why did he give you? Why did he give you? That was what he said to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. لولا نزلت هذا القرآن على القرية عظيم أهم يقسمون رحمة ربك نحن قسمنا بينكم معيشتكم في الحياة الدنيا نحن قسمنا معيشتهم في الحياة الدنيا ورفعنا بعضكم فوق بعض. Allah says some people among the Arabs, they are jealous of Quraysh. They say, why is it that Allah revealed the Quran? Allah did not reveal the Quran to one of the two major tribes, Banu Saki and one of that tribe. Why is it that the Quran was not revealed to us? Why to Quraysh? Allah says, Ahum yaqsimuna rahmata rabbik. Are they the ones distributing the mercy of Allah? نحن قسمنا بينهم معيشتهم في الحياة الدنيا. The gari they put in their mouth this morning, Allah is the one who gave it to them. وَرَفَعْنَا بَعْضَكُمْ فَوْقَ بَعْضٍ دَرَجَاتٍ. Out of the qadar of Allah, Allah raised some people up above some others. So the one who said, why is Allah giving something to somebody, he is questioning Allah. So we need to be very patient when you have, it's a fitna, it's a bala. When you now realize that somebody is having hasad of you, wallah, it's a very, very serious fitna. You'll be making dua, you'll be begging Allah, what you have may it not go down, because if it does not go down, you will not be happy. He will be praying, be making dua, day and night, in his sleep, in his dream, in every time. One of the scholars said, the hasad is a very bad friend. It will not leave its friend until he kills that friend. Hasad is a very evil thing, and it is a very dangerous thing. It can happen. The Muslims who make hasad of themselves, and ikhwan, the people who have hasad most against themselves are tulab al-ilm and ulama, students seeking knowledge and scholars. It is amongst them that the hasad is worse. May Allah protect all of us. May Allah protect all of us. Okay, if the Muslim does not want the non-Muslim to get better than you can do it now. If you're non-Muslim, you don't owe him any duty. You don't owe him any duty to tell him. You see in his writing, the answer is 4. He wrote 14. Meaning, you will see the result of 14. So somebody wrote 4 in an exam where he's supposed to write 14. I wrote 14. In an exam he's supposed to write 4. The difference between 1, that's 1, and the 0 that is supposed to live there, you will see it when the result comes out. You don't owe him any duty on the line. You don't have to tell him. So it's not wrong for a Muslim to want to overrun a non-Muslim. In fact, I do it. If I'm driving, if I see one day left one telling me and said, I just come out of them like this, I do it. I've seen it before. Somebody has said, this is, I just press the thing once, just go away. They don't like you to even overtake them when you drive. When they see you Alaja and Eloha in the car, they will be behaving somewhat. Then you just come like this and go away. That's why we need good cars. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam, his camel was the best camel in Medina. Al-Qaswa, it was the best camel in Medina. The day they brought, when they make a camel off, camel way, the camel of the messenger Al-Qaswa, it will overrun every other camel in Medina. And Imam al-Tirmidhi reported a hadith that one day they brought a new camel. The Jews, they were now searching for camels everywhere to see the one that can run very well, to overrun the camel of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. So each time they make a race, and that of the messenger overrun every other camel, the companions are happy. One day they brought a camel, and that camel, when they started the race, the camel ran faster than Al-Qaswa and beat Al-Qaswa. The companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were crying. They were saying, Shubiqat al-Qaswa. Qaswa has been defeated. Shubiqat al-Qaswa. They cried and they went to the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam and said to him, Shubiqat al-Qaswa. And the Prophet made a very, very important statement. He said, Ma rafa'allahu shay'an min dunyakum illa wadahu. Allah does not raise anything from the things of this world, except that after some time, what will Allah do? He will bring it down. That is why if somebody gives you Volkswagen today, you dash him back, say please, I don't want. Benz 190 was the one that Shagari was driving. 190. Benz 190. If somebody dash you Benz 190 now, you may tell him I don't want. Because it is fuel consumption that will kill the person. And the parts are very expensive. But at that time it was the car of president. Allah bring it down. When a man, billionaire, builds a house today, give him 5 years. After 5 years, he will not like that house again. That is why you hear them start saying they have 300 houses in the day, 400 houses. Because when they build one, they say, there's one thing, they look for another one. They build it again, there's one thing. مَا رَفَعَ اللَّهُ شَيْئًا مِنْ دُنْيَاكُمْ إِلَّا وَضَعَهُ. I'm trying to say that it is good to have a nice ride. Ulama explain it, but not today. We will explain that one. We just use the hadith of Quran for that. So when you do that, it means even in things like that, there is some psychological uplift the Muslim can gain. There is some psychological uplift that the non-Muslim too can gain. From one horse to another horse racing. This one horse of the Prophet, this one horse of Kufiri, they are racing. And there is something in that. The Muslims are happy about that. So when they race and go, they say, oh, this will look like, I've seen it before. So when I saw that they did that, I just came and left them. So I'm saying that even in things of this world, when we do better than non-Muslims, we are happy. We are happy, and I tell you, non-Muslims are not happy when a Muslim does well, even in exam. I've seen it before when you are entering university, if you bring your JAM result, you are scoring 280, they say, you are fast, you are scoring 280. They don't want good for you. But if you are the one having 182, you say, they will be little, you are going to be little. May Allah protect us against the evil. فَانْصُرْنَا عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الْكَافِرِينَ. We take the last question before we go for today. Bismillah, our next class will be all questions and answers, inshallah. The last question. Alaykum salam. You say what? Wallah, I didn't hear the question. If a non-Muslim is found with attributes good Muslim, can you move closer to him in order to show that non-Muslim the good in Islam? If it's a sword with 2 edges, you must watch it very well. But I must tell you, if you have not really found that you really like Islam, avoid it. But if you discover that the Muslim is getting inclined, you just need a little push, then you can go ahead and try and see whether when you do that push, you become a Muslim. But you have to be very, very intelligent to be able to assess his situation before taking steps. I hope I'm clear, inshallah. May Allah make us understand better than it has been said. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika. أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. آمين وأنتم